one of the cases that was referenced a little bit earlier was written by the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, which is federal appellate court. And it is interesting to note that the judge that wrote that opinion is the chief judge of the Seventh Circuit. His name is Judge Easterbrook. He's a relatively well-known judge within legal circles. He is a law and economics professor at the University of Chicago. He was appointed to the federal bench at a very young age. He was 36 when he was originally appointed. He was approved by the Senate when he was 37, and he was appointed by President Reagan. He is one of the most conservative judges on the federal circuit, and he wrote the decision in Idris that addressed each of those constitutional analysis and rebutted and refuted each of those. There is, and again, with all due respect, this is constitutional law is not simple, and I guess maybe I should say thankfully, maybe neither is the practice of law. I'm no more qualified to change the I don't even know if cars have timing belts anymore, but the timing belt in my car. I suspect that precious few of you out there have the legal training to interpret constitutional law. And
in America, as I said, we have due process. We are entitled to a presumption of innocence. Now, a rose by any other name is still a rose. And just because you choose to call it parking in the middle of an intersection doesn't make running a red light a non-moving violation. It is a moving violation. And in the sovereign state of Missouri, a moving violation is a Class C misdemeanor. A Class C misdemeanor, if it goes to court, well, you're entitled to a criminal trial. And in a criminal trial, there's a presumption of innocence. And the burden is on the prosecution to prove that the defendant is guilty. It is not upon the defendant to prove that he is innocent. Now, Mr. Sweeney talks a lot about complications within constitutional law. Well, as an attorney, Mr. Sweeney, I'm sure you're aware that Missouri is in the 8th Circuit. Judge Easterbrook is in the 7th Circuit. So Judge Easterbrook is free to do whatever he wants in the 7th Circuit. Missouri's in the 8th. Furthermore, in Missouri, we have something that the 7th Circuit doesn't have, and that's the Hancock Amendment. Now, what the Hancock Amendment says is that a city cannot impose a tax and masquerade it as a fee. If they want to raise money, a city has to have a vote by the people, and it cannot be imposed by some star chamber. Military juntas work really well in South America. They don't cut it here. Thank you.